Whether you are from a Caucasian culture, a black culture, an Indian culture, you must be able to speak to people and meet them at the place where they are.
What's going on? This is Unstuck, and welcome to yet another episode of Unstuck, what I like to call escaping the matrix. Today I'm in the studio with my brother Marlon Francis, and we're going to be sharing with you today the importance of having a mentor. So without much ado, how are you doing, my brother?
Hey, Ernest. Good to be back again, man.
It's good to be back, bro.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, this particular subject is dear to my heart,
Right.
because a huge part of me and where I came from and how I'm living now
Right.
is through the power of mentoring. So I take every opportunity to be a mentor to young people when I can.
Absolutely. I believe that's a good thing. And myself, I had some mentors along the way who really helped me. But all of those mentors were online. They weren't people that I could, ask them questions
Yes.
and stuff like that. So that was really hard, for me growing up. But at the same time,
Was still effective.
having some sort of mentorship, was very helpful to me.
Yes, yes. Well, I was very fortunate enough to have a mentor back home in Jamaica when I was in high school.
Right.
And the reason why he stands out so much, Mr. Henry, I'll say his full name, Robert Henry.
Right.
He's an educator. He studied agricultural science
Right.
in JSA when it was a prominent university in Jamaica,
Right.
and he after studying there, he became a teacher of the subject at Dental Technical High School, and that's where I met him. And I remember when I got on the dormitory, both my parents were in these United States of America,
Right.
and trying to make a better life for us, and it was an absolute godsend. And now I have family members back home,
Right.
but this was different. This was absolutely different. When he took me under his wing, and the first thing he did, what was unique was, it didn't start with him. It actually started with his wife.
Right.
He sent me on an errand to give his wife some stuff, and his wife and I end up engaging in a conversation about who I am, where my parents, where my parents and so forth. And as she got to know me, she spoke to him about being there for me and guiding me. And in doing so, he invited me into his home. I was able to see him speak to his wife, take her opinions. I see him pray for his children. I was able to see him, obviously he was in the classroom teaching, so I saw that brilliance. So he was educated and a brilliant person,
Right.
and extremely thoughtful. And he showed a compassion to his children that I never knew existed. His 3-year-old daughter, I remember he would engage in a conversation with his 3-year-old. It blew my mind. And I said, that's what it looks like to be a father. And that's when I knew that I could be a dad and a husband.
Right.
I could be a husband and I could be a father and I could be educated.
Right.
And at the same time, this is when the Cosby Show was on. So I was getting a good dose, even though Mr. Huxtable was a fictional character. Seeing him and the way how he was, I saw some of those values within Mr. Henry from a different point of view.
Right.
And I think I am the husband that I am today because of him. I think I am the educated person that I am I think I'm the kind of father that I am to my children. It's because of him.
That's good to know. That's good to know. So when we talk about mentorship, it's something that is very important in everybody's life.
Yeah, man.
And I can't even stress this enough, because if you have somebody in your life that is older than you, that have already walked the path that you are about to walk,
Yeah,
there are so many things that they can see that you cannot see.
absolutely.
You know, so instead of you going through the wilderness for 40 years,
Oh my goodness.
you know, just trying to find your way,
Yes,
somebody can make it easy for you,
absolutely.
and you can make that journey within 24 hours, literally. You know, just by reading a book can save you 5 years.
That's another form of mentoring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, just by reading a book.
Just by reading a
save you
book.
5
years. Yes.
So if you're listening to us right now, if you don't have a mentor in your life, please go and get a mentor. See somebody that you admire, walk up to them, tell them that you would like them to mentor you,
Right.
and get under their wings and learn as much as you can from them. Because listen, it is something that will help you tremendously down the road. Because sometimes as young people, we think we know everything.
I think that's an, you know, the expression Achilles tendon. It's an Achilles of we getting shot in the leg, and the Achilles of our feet gets snapped,
Right.
and we can't move forward because we are so caught up in our own vision of what we think it is,
Yeah.
without getting some information, some inside information on how to go and navigate through these things.
Right.
And when we have people like that, or even those who have become extremely rich or lived a successful life, write down all of their information,
Right.
and give that information to you
Right.
for a small fee,
Right.
by all means.
Yeah.
Two things, and I want to bring up these two things. I want to talk about a pop culture, and I want to talk about a political icon.
Okay.
Right. One of the unfortunately, Kobe Bryant passed away the other day.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: if there was anyone in the NBA that loved and admired Michael Jordan, it was that young man.
That's true.
And even Michael Jordan admitted that Kobe was so annoying at asking questions. He was so annoying at getting the answers to his quest to become great as or greater than Michael Jordan. He came extremely close. 5 championships. That's not bad at all, man.
No.
Taking the advice, getting the attitude of his mentor, he made Michael into a mentor. Michael said he was so persistent, and I honestly believe that persistence is an act of faith. It can have a profound effect on your direction.
Right.
Be persistent.
I think in everything that you do, you need persistence,
Yes.
because without it, there is no freaking way you can achieve anything in life.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So he was able to achieve what he had achieved, and unfortunately, he left the world. But he left such a great mark
Right.
that any young person should ever pick up the book, the Mamba book, or the Mamba mentality, philosophy, or ideals. You are on a good trajectory of doing some great things.
Right.
Then there's this other person that that has done we think to be the most impossible thing. He became the president of the United States of America,
Right.
Mr. Barack Obama. The man who said, you know, yes, we can. And looking at him and listening to his story, I mean, how much more information that we can get. I'm glad that they didn't take him out.
Right.
I'm glad they didn't take him out. And the reason for that is I didn't want him to be another Malcolm, and I didn't want him to be another Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
I'm glad that he's still here,
Right.
dropping dimes,
Yeah, that's
dropping
true.
information, and giving us insight to the future, because he's a futurist.
Right.
He doesn't think within the moment.
Right.
He sees ahead,
Right.
and he believes from a political point of view
Right.
that moving forward, and this is one of his favorite lines, moving forward,
Right.
you have to know how to navigate the nuances of how people are. Whether you are from a Caucasian culture, a black culture, an Indian culture, you must be able to speak to people and meet them at the place where they are.
Right.
And in doing so, then you can influence. I remember my pastor did a seminar on leadership, and he used the word leadership once. And every other time that he spoke about leadership, he said influence, 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 influence. And I'm beginning to see what that means through President Obama.
Right. So we are talking about mentorship and how that is important to helping you get to wherever, whatever destination you've set for yourself. And there are so many ways you can get somebody to be your mentor. If the person is not close to you, if this person is somebody that you admire just by watching television, get a book that they wrote.
Yes.
And try to learn more about their life.
Right.
Try to understand their story, because what is inspiring is knowing somebody's story.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we see the end result. When somebody becomes a celebrity and everybody is hailing them,
Right.
everywhere they go, there's a crowd following them. It's easy to be drawn to that.
Yes.
But when you take a step back to look at the stories of those individuals
Mm-hmm.
and see the things that they have to overcome
Come.
in their personal
Yes,
lives,
yes,
individual lives,
Mm-hmm.
to get to where they are, those are the things that are inspiring.
Absolutely, man.
You know, so for me, what I did growing up was just reading the biographies of highly successful people.
Yeah.
And by reading that, what it did for me is that, one, these people were not born with silver spoons
In their mouth.
Not all of them.
Not
we
all of
have
them.
some hedge fund babies
Out there, right, right.
billionaires who are out there. But I'm talking about people who had nothing, just like you and I, and were able to hustle with determination and persistence. You know, were able to make something happen for themselves. Incredible.
Incredible,
And
yeah.
there are a ton of books out there that you can read. And when you're picking books to read, don't go and pick some zombie book and read.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the self-development section
Right.
of any bookstore and grab a book that will change your life.
Right.
That will help you think differently. You know, because one thing you have to understand is that for your life to change, you have to change. And for you to change, you have to change your mindset. If your mindset is still the same, there is no freaking way you can make any significant change in your life that will bring any significant results.
Going back to the values,
Right.
how valuable you can make yourself.
Right.
And we have such we are in a unique time, and the uniqueness of our time is that we have the internet.
Right.
And if you will probably never meet Oprah Winfrey. I'd love to be in a room and see Miss Winfrey and hear her point of views, as close as we are sitting across from each
Right.
other. But it's not something that it's not a goal that I'm setting. What I'm tremendously happy for
Right.
is that Miss Winfrey will have these masterclass
Right.
with some of the people who have done tremendous stuff and engage them in conversations about where they came from,
Right.
what was the middle ground, and the end result.
I think it's a podcast that she
Yeah.
does. I don't know if they are still doing it.
No, she on her
Own network.
yes, on her network she does these masterclass.
Oh, okay.
And I appreciate her for that.
And by the way,
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, if you are listening to this podcast, my name is Unstuck, and this is my brother Marlon Francis. We
Absolutely.
would like to meet you in person.
Yes, yes. And
And,
to have the opportunity to sit in a space with someone like I cannot let this end without mentioning the autobiography of Arthur Ashe. I think it was the first autobiography I ever read. And that book still has a place in my heart, of this young man from Virginia,
Right.
and his rise to becoming, to winning the Wimbledon championship. And unfortunately, he left the world in one of the most unexpected way. All right. And Mr. Ashe had such a soft spirit. Even from the pages of the book, you can tell that this man didn't have an aggressive bone in his body, but was the most fierce competitor on the planet. And I've never met Mr. Ashe. I've never met him, but he left something with me. And he left something with me about how to, because what he did before he passed away, he did one of those set up a camera, and he sat down and he to speak to his only child, which is his daughter, and to tell her all of the knowledge that he has, and to leave as much on the plate for her. And he said, listen, babe, one of the things he left for her, and what I remember, he said, you don't have to have a clothes full of, with all the wealth that I'm leaving you, you don't have to spend all your money on clothing. Have one dark dress for a funeral. Have a gray, he's kind of telling it from his point of view, because he had one dark suit for funerals, a tuxedo that he bought, that's the most expensive suit that he has. And he will wear that tuxedo to balls and dinners and to a funeral. And he said, I will have a gray one for summer days. And the passion for living never left him, even on his last day, I believe.
Wow.
Because he believed in the human condition so much.
Right.
He believed in the power of his presence to his wife and his daughter so much that him leaving the world, he feel as though his daughter in particular was being cheated. And he left all of his information to mentor her, all that he knew, to mentor her to becoming the best woman that she can become. We have a responsibility for each other as much as we have a responsibility for our own lives.
Absolutely.
And through that act and that ideal, we can become a much stronger community, a much more potent, a much more thoughtful, a much more respectful, and a much more successful community if we begin to reach out to each other and converse as we are,
Right.
about the things that matters to us.
Right.
My wife and I will always encourage my wife. I said, please speak to me about the matters of your heart so that I can understand what you mean. Because when you do from there, my heart is in love with yours so much that I will be there to give you as much as I possibly can.
You sound like King Solomon right there, man. With that being said,
Yes.
we would like to bring this episode to an end. If you're listening to us right now, please subscribe to our video on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to get notified each time we post a new video. Also, like our page on Facebook. Click the follow button to get notified each time we post a new video. With that being said, it's been a wonderful time, and thank you for listening to us on this episode. Until next time, remember, don't be a follower, be a student.
Yes, sir.
My name is Cosmic. Thank you for watching.